Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me for my very first Create a Card Friday. Today I'm going to be using the stamp set called Echoes of Kindness. This is a level 2 hostess set available from Stampin Up. So it's only available for hostesses whose workshop sales reach a total of $600 or more. So it's a gorgeous set and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you today. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to show you is our Eyelet border punch. I'm wanting to use some Riding Hood red in my Eyelet border punch for my card that I'm making today. So to use the punch correctly, it has grid lines. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it has some lines here that shows you where you can center your cardstock so that you'll get an even punch on each end. So you just pop your cardstock into the punch and line it up so that you're starting in the centre and just punch down. Then when you move your punch along, there's a silhouette along the edge of the punch, and so you just line up the pattern that you've punched over the silhouette and then punch again, and then that will continue the pattern all the way along. And there's the same on the other side. So we'll punch down this end and that's done. So that's my eyelet border and my card today that I'm making. I'm using a Close to Cocoa card base, and I've got some patterned paper from the Candy Lane Designer Series pack and my Riding Hood red strip. So my eyelet border I'm putting down this side, then I'm going to put my Candy Lane paper along the other side, and I can get that lined up properly. And then I've got a very vanilla rectangle and I'm going to stamp on that using my Echoes of Kindness stamp set. So I'll set these aside for now. When I'm making cards, I always start from the top layer and work my way down. The reason that I do that is that if I make a mistake on one of the layers, I can just put that aside, start again on that layer, and I haven't ruined my card. So on my very vanilla rectangle, I'm going to stamp using StazOn Ink and using my Echoes of Kindness stamp set. So the stamp that I'm going to use is this pretty flower, the smaller of the flowers. And just opening up my StazOn. And I'm just inking up my stamp. And the reason that I do it upside down is so that I can see that I get an even ink coverage. So I've inked that up. Now I want to stamp the flower just down this right hand side and bottom corner. So that's my flower. I'll just cover up my StazOn again there. Okay, now I'm going to use a blender pen with my inks. I've got the Riding Hood red ink and my pink Pirouette ink, and I'm going to colour my flower. Now all I'm doing is I've just punched, squeezed the ink pad to get some ink into the lid, and I'm going to pick that up with my blender pen. That's the wrong end. That's it. So I'm just picking up the ink with my blender pen, and then I'm going to highlight around my flower using that ink that I've just picked up. Now this does work better with watercolour paper, and I'm just using plain very vanilla cardstock here, but it will still give me a nice effect. I've just got to be careful that I don't run the blender pen over the same spot too many times, otherwise this cardstock will peel because it's not particularly designed for watercolouring. So I'll just quickly go along the highlighted edges. Okay, so I've coloured my flower and I've highlighted where I want the colour with my blender pen and ink from the lid of my stamp pads. Now I'm going to just take an aqua painter and just run over the areas of the image that I've coloured, and just being careful to ensure that your aqua painter doesn't get too wet. You don't want too much water on your page. Just blending the colours. As I said, this will work better if you have watercolour paper, but just stick at it and eventually you'll get a really nice watercoloured effect to your image. So just running over all of the areas that I've coloured and dragging that colour into the centre of the image. Now I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but in real life that's got a nice soft watercoloured look to it. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment along the top left hand corner of my image using my Close to Cocoa ink. And I've got the stamp from the, I think it's called It's Your Birthday set, and just inking up my sentiment, and as I said, I want that on the top left corner of my cardstock rectangle. It's a really nice font to match the delicate flower image that I'm using. So now that's ready to stick onto my card. So I'll take my SNAIL adhesive, and as I said, starting from the top layer, I'll work my way down to finish my card off. Just giving that a nice press to stick the adhesive down. Now to stick my eyelet border, I'm just going to run some adhesive along this edge of the patterned paper. Then I'll stick that down onto the border because that will help me line it up where I want it, rather than working backwards, sticking the border onto the back. Okay, so that's where I want it. Now I'm going to stick this whole piece down onto my card, again with my SNAIL adhesive. And I'm leaving a nice even border of the Close to Cocoa card base around each edge of my mat. And there we have it, really quick and simple, didn't take me long at all. That's a lovely finished, completed birthday card ready to go. And I've used the watercolouring technique, some eyelet border punching and some pattern paper. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to order any of the products that I've used today, just give me a call on 0402 120 972 or visit my website www.stampwithwendy.com.au. Thanks for joining me on Create a Card Friday.